Scholars and Science Father organization. My name is Dr. Tanzin Ladon and I am currently working as a senior research fellow in the Department of Fruit Science at Dr. Parmar University of Horticulture and Forestry, Nauni, Solan. Today, I am grateful to share my research with you, which focuses on optimizing apple orchard management. The topic of my study was optimizing apple orchard management, investigating the impact of planting density, training systems, and fertigation levels on tree growth, yield, and fruit quality. First of all, apple is a vital crop in global horticulture, particularly in the northwestern Himalayan region. China is the leading apple producing nation following Turkey, the USA, Poland, and India. India being the second largest apple cultivator by acreage, but its productivity, which is 8 tons per hectare, lags behind other leading countries, having a productivity of 40 to 60 tons per hectare. Rationale: the majority of the existing apple orchards in the country are established on seedling rootstocks and planted at low density. This configuration, characterized by extended vegetative phase, which bears fruit after 3 to 4 years of planting, with peak production achieved over a span of 15 to 20 years. This yields suboptimal quality fruits accompanied by higher labor costs and diminished yields. Under present scenario, the continued decline in the availability of cultivable land, rising energy and land costs together mounting with the demand of apple produce have given thrust to adoption of high density planting in apple. This research focuses on the critical factors of planting density, training systems, and fertigation levels, aiming to address the challenges faced by apple orchardists in India. The study aims to enhance orchard profitability and sustainability by optimizing tree spacing and canopy architecture for better light interception and penetration, along with optimum quantity of fertilizers for quality fruit production. Methodology: this is the overview of how we conducted our research. The experiment was laid out in a randomized block design with 12 treatment combinations. The site of experiment was in Nauni and the cultivar was geromine grafted on M9 rootstock. The age of the trees were 4-year-old during the first year of experiment, and there was three factors: planting densities, training system, and fertigation doses. The planting densities had three levels. First, 4,000 trees per hectare with a spacing of 2.5 into 1 meter. Second, 3,200 trees per hectare with a spacing of 2.5 into 1.25 meter. And third, 2,666 trees per hectare with a spacing of 2.5 into 1.50 meter. The two training systems, tall spindle and vertical axis, and 100% of recommended dose of NPK and 75% of recommended dose of NPK. The time of fertigation was from 3rd week of March to 1st week of July in 15 equal splits, and each treatment combinations was replicated 3 times, having 2 trees in each replication. Data were analyzed using SPSS software. These are 12 treatment combinations. This is the general view of the experimental area. Experimental results. Results reveal that different planting densities, training systems, and fertigation levels significantly influence tree growth, yield contributing traits, and fruit physicochemical characteristics. The table 1 shows that the main effects of different planting densities, training systems, and fertigation levels on tree growth and yield related parameters were highly significant. Among the planting densities, the trees planted at a density of 4,000 trees per hectare resulted in the lowest growth. However, the trees planted at a spacing of 2.5 into 1.5 meter, having a density of 2666 trees per hectare, resulted in highest annual shoot growth, spur density, blossom density, fruit set, fruit retention, and yield. In between training systems, the tall spindle training system exhibited the lowest growth compared to vertical axis and highest yield contributing traits such as spur density, blossom density, fruit set, fruit retention, and yield in comparison to vertical axis trees. The fertigation dose of 100% of RD/NPK resulted in highest vegetative growth, TCSA and TCV, and yield contributing traits such as spur density, blossom density, fruit set, fruit retention, and yield. The figure 1 shows that the yield per TCSA and yield per TCV were significantly influenced by the main effects of planting density, training system, and fertigation level. Among the planting density, the highest yield efficiency was recorded in trees planted at a density of 2.5 into 1.50 meter, and in between the training systems, the tall spindle trained trees exhibited more yield efficiency than vertical axis trees, and between fertigation doses, the 100% of RD/NPK resulted in higher yield efficiency as compared to 75% of RD/NPK. The table 2 depicts that main effect of different planting densities, training systems, and fertigation level on fruit physicochemical and phytochemical characteristics were also highly significant. Among the planting densities, the fruits of trees planted at a density of 2666 trees per hectare resulted in highest fruit weight, length, diameter, highest fruit firmness, highest TSS, lowest in titratable acidity, highest in total sugars, highest in ascorbic acid, and highest in total phenol and anthocyanin content. In between the training systems, the tall spindle trained trees resulted in significantly higher in fruit weight, dimensions, fruit firmness, TSS, lowest in acidity, and higher in total sugar, ascorbic acid, total phenol, and anthocyanin content when compared to the vertical axis. And in case of fertigation levels, the plants fertilized with 100% of RD/NPK resulted in significantly higher fruit weight, fruit dimensions, fruit firmness, TSS, sugars, ascorbic acid, total phenol, anthocyanin content, and lowest in titratable acidity when compared to 75% of RD/NPK. The table 3 represents the two-way interaction effects of different planting densities and training systems on tree growth dynamics and yield-related parameters of apple. In this, the trees trained with tall spindle and planted at a density of 4,000 trees per hectare exhibited the lowest tree growth, TCSA and TCV, and the trees trained as tall spindle and planted at a density of 2666 trees per hectare resulted in significantly highest spur density, blossom density, fruit set, fruit retention, and yield per tree. The figure 2 represents that the trees planted at a density of 2666 trees per hectare and trained to tall spindle training system had highest yield per TCSA. However, the trees planted at a density of 4,000 trees per hectare and trained as tall spindle training system resulted in highest yield per TCV. The two-way interaction effects of different planting densities and training systems on fruit weight, fruit dimension, fruit firmness, titratable acidity, total sugars, and ascorbic acid were non-significant. However, the TSS, total phenol content, and anthocyanin content were highly influenced by the effects of different planting densities and training systems. In terms of TSS, the significantly highest TSS were registered in the fruits of trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare and trained to tall spindle training system. Similarly, the total phenol and anthocyanin content was highest in fruits of trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare and trained as tall spindle. The two-way interaction effects of different planting densities and fertigation levels significantly influence tree growth and spur density and fruit set percent. The lowest tree growth was registered in trees planted at a density of 4,000 trees per hectare and fertigated with 75% of RD and PK. The spur density and fruit set was highest in the trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare and fertigated with 100% of RD and PK. The figure 3 represents the yield efficiency of apple cultivar geromine as influenced by two-way interaction effects of planting densities and fertigation level. In case of yield per TCSA, the significantly high yield efficiency were recorded in trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare, fertigated with 100% of recommended dose of NPK. In case of yield per TCV, the significantly high yield efficiency was recorded in trees planted at a density of 4,000 trees per hectare and fertigated with 75% of RD NPK. The fruit physicochemical and phytochemical characteristics of apple as influenced by the two-way interaction effects of different planting densities and fertigation level. As you can see in the table, the two-way interaction effects of different planting densities and fertigation levels did not produce significant effect on fruit quality. However, the ascorbic acid content and total phenol content were significantly influenced by the two-way interaction effects of different planting densities and fertigation level. The trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare and fertigated with 100% of RD of NPK resulted in significantly high ascorbic acid content. Similarly, the highest total phenol content was also documented in trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare and fertigated with 100% of recommended dose of NPK. The two-way interaction effects of different training systems and fertigation levels on tree growth, blossom density, and fruit set were highly significant. However, annual shoot growth, fruit retention, and yield were not significantly affected. The trees trained as tall spindle and fertigated with 75% of RD NPK registered significantly lowest tree growth, and the trees trained as tall spindle and fertigated with 100% of RD NPK registered significantly highest blossom density and fruit set percentage. The two-way interaction effects of training systems and fertigation levels on yield efficiency were non-significant. The two-way interaction effects of different training systems and fertigation levels were non-significant on fruit quality characteristics. However, the total phenol and anthocyanin content were significantly influenced by the two-way interaction effects of different training systems and fertigation level. The significantly highest total phenol and anthocyanin content were documented in trees trained as tall spindle and fertigated with 100% of recommended dose of NPK. Three-way interaction effects of planting densities, training systems, and fertigation levels are presented in Table 9, and it shows that the three-way interaction effects of planting densities, training systems, and fertigation levels significantly influence tree growth dynamics and blossom density. However, annual shoot growth, spur density, fruit set, fruit retention, and yield were not significantly affected. In terms of TCSA and TCV, the significantly lowest tree growth were registered in trees planted at a density of 4,000 trees per hectare, trained as tall spindle and fertigated with 100% of RD NPK. In case of blossom density, the significantly highest blossom density was registered in trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare, trained as tall spindle and fertigated with F1, that is 100% of RD NPK. The yield efficiency was significantly influenced by the three-way interaction effects of planting densities, training systems, and fertigation levels. Among the 12 treatment combinations, the significantly highest yield TCSA was registered in trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare, trained to tall spindle, and fertigated with 100% of recommended dose of NPK. And in terms of yield per TCV, the significantly highest yield per TCV was registered in trees planted at a density of 4,000 trees per hectare, trained as tall spindle, and fertigated with 100% of RD NPK. The three-way interaction effects of different planting densities, training systems, and fertigation levels did not produce any significant effect of fruit physicochemical parameters. However, the TSS and total phenol content was significantly affected. The significantly highest TSS was registered in trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare, trained as tall spindle and fertigated with 100% of recommended dose of NPK. Similarly, the total phenol content was highest in trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare, trained as tall spindle and fertigated with 100% of RD NPK. Conclusion. All findings reveal that trees planted at a density of 2,666 trees per hectare, employing the tall spindle training system and receiving 100% RD of NPK, exhibited the highest yield per tree and yield per TCSA, coupled with the production of superior quality fruits. Furthermore, the combination of 4,000 trees per hectare planting density, tall spindle training system, and 100% RD of NPK fertigation resulted in the highest overall productivity of 42.1 tons per hectare without any significant adverse effect on various fruit physicochemical characteristics. This combination achieved an optimal balance between planting density and training system, enhancing the orchard's overall output. In conclusion, the synergy between high planting density, tall spindle training system, and 100% RD of NPK fertigation can be considered as an effective and sustainable strategy for maximizing apple orchard productivity while maintaining favorable fruit quality. These findings provide valuable insights for apple orchard management and could serve as a foundation for further research and practical applications in the field of apple cultivation. Thank you all for your attention and interest. Lastly, thank you to Science Father for this opportunity to share my research.